What's up, everybody? This is D-Money with the Canes Insight Daily Podcast. Want to tell you about our good friends at Anijar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you've been in a crash, someone you care about's been in a crash, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Don't go with a rookie. Go with somebody who knows the process, who has experts at every single stage of the process, who will treat you like family, who will make sure that you're protected, taken care of. Don't have to worry about anything except for getting the finest legal care and having your case handled by the absolute best. Take back control of your life. 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Also want to talk about my friends at Caneswear. You can go to the store at Davie, Football Heaven, or caneswear.com if you're not local. Get the absolute best in Miami Hurricanes gear, Miami Dolphins gear, Inter Miami, Florida Panthers, Miami Heat, Miami Marlins. You name it, they have it. Absolute best when it comes to Miami sports fans merchandise and the best staff in the business. Ask anybody, they'll tell you. But if you're not lucky enough to go to the store, go to caneswear.com. Everything is available there, the spot where Miami fans shop.
What's going on, Canes fans? I am Peter Ariz, and this is Canes Insight Daily. D-Money will be back next week hosting as he comes back from vacation, but we have a huge show lined up for you today. Stevo from 365 Canes Football will be joining me to break down Miami's recent running back commitment, Girard Pringle. He brings a lot to the table in terms of speed and explosiveness. So excited to get into it with Stevo. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff in regards to this team, this spring football practice, and some other recruiting stuff as well. But before that, have to get into this big pickup for Canes basketball yesterday. And then, of course, Canes baseball with a big win over Clemson in the series opener. But this pickup in Lynn Kidd out of Virginia Tech, it's a very intriguing one. Miami finally getting the big man that they've been wanting, right? Obviously, they've been playing small ball the last couple of years, and Norchad Omier has done a great job, obviously leading Miami to the Final Four last season. But they were exposed this year at times, right? So this guy, Lynn Kidd, intriguing pickup for a few reasons. 6'10", big man, led the ACC in field goal percentage last year. But to me, it's interesting because these big men sometimes are late bloomers. This is a guy who started his career at Clemson, transfers, only plays 2.5 minutes per game in his first year of Virginia Tech, right? So doesn't do much there. So now going into his third season, only started 5 games, right, which was last year. Then this year, his first season as a starter, 23 minutes per game. His averages all jump. He jumps to 13 points per game. One of the more impressive things about him, 84% free throw shooter on 95 shots this year, right? So as a big man, has the ability to knock down free throws. He's obviously going to get fouled, right? And then just watching him, this is not a stiff guy. He can run the floor. He rolls to the basket very well, seals off his defender, gets position. Doesn't give you much of a perimeter scoring presence, but that's not what you're expecting him to come in and be, right? So this is a guy originally from Gainesville, Florida, out of IMG in high school. But obviously, we got to see what Norchad Omier is going to do. Nigel Pack announcing that he's coming back. If Omier comes back and you can play him in that 4 spot with Lynn Kidd at the 5, now you have a really formidable duo. And Norchad Omier was already a mismatch problem for a lot of these centers, right? Because he was too quick for them. But I think he can do some real damage from that 4 spot now as his game continues to evolve offensively, right? So teams got to get healthy, but this is a big pickup. Obviously, they'll have a ton of time before next season. They're not playing now. But with the additions from the freshman class coming in with Jaleel Bethea, Austin Swartz, Isaiah Johnson-Aragu, very excited about the roster that could be potentially put together here as Coach L and his staff will continue to add some pieces, and then still some decisions and announcements to be made, right? Matthew Cleveland, Wooga Poplar, Norchad Omier. We'll see if all those guys end up coming back. But very excited about the potential of this roster 100%. Moving along here to Canes baseball last night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, as of course Easter is on Sunday. And what a night it was at Mark Light. Gage Zeal, who's had a couple good outings in, recent showings, goes out there, complete game, 9 innings, 1 earned run, and 15 strikeouts. What a performance on the mound. But that was all topped off by, of course, the walk-off home run by Jack Scanlon, the transfer out of Oregon. And it was an absolute moonshot. As soon as it left his bat, you knew that it was gone, right? And the guys went crazy, as we see here. But what a win last night at Mark Light Stadium for this Canes baseball team that they just keep plugging away, right? Good midweek win against FIU earlier in the week, and now you get the series started against the number 3 team in the country, nonetheless, right? So what a win for Miami to start the series. Gage Zeal, again, 15 strikeouts, and you see the two of them celebrating right there. Jack Scanlon having a heck of a time, as he should have. And let's see if the Canes can close out this series tonight, Friday night, get it done with early. And let me tell you something, could be the momentum that they need as we head into the most important stretch of the season for them, as we have Javi Salas on every week talking about this team. Need to really string some wins together here, and would be quite ideal to do it against a top 5 team in the country. So coming up next here on Canes Insight Daily, Stevo from 365 Canes Football joins the show. All right, Canes fans, very excited to be joined now by one of the best contributors to Canes Insight and all of the Canes content creating community as a whole. Stevo, my man from 365 Canes Football. You can subscribe to his page. I'm going to pull it up right here so everyone can check it out on YouTube. Always putting the best breakdowns out, not only the recruiting classes, but as you guys see here, has a full breakdown on Cam Ward, Reese Poffenbarger, who Stevo, you came on the show when he first committed, and we did a breakdown of him as well. But then again, also at 365 Canes Info on Twitter, you can follow Stevo. But enough with the intro, Stevo. Appreciate you coming on today, man. How you doing?
I'm vibing. It's always good. Spring practice is coming. Nuggets are flying here and there. We got a commitment from a very fast running back. And if you've looked at what Mario Cristobal has done since 2022, since he's came in, we've got Mark Fletcher, a quote unquote Thunderback paired with CJ, which is Chris Johnson Jr. If you don't know, he's one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player on the team. Then followed that up with Jordan Lyle, who's a super balanced power back. And then with Hellcat, his nickname is Hellcat. So you understand Chris Ridley Humphrey is really fast. And so now, boom, we just got Pringle. So the trend is going, we really focus on the speed at the position. Those guys pop first. And then we're looking to flip, the best all around, or just get a straight up commitment from the best all around guy with size. So it's apparent that we're pairing Thunder and Lightning combos every class. So you got to start looking forward to whose names start heating up on the running back board, and a local one is also starting to heat up. So it's fun times.
Yeah, man. And listen, obviously Henry Parrish goes to the portal. Mark Fletcher out for the spring. So that running back spot right now on the team, right now, there's some spots up for grabs, right? And this is a good opportunity for a guy like Trevante Citizen coming back now to get an opportunity. Obviously, Don Chaney now gone as well. So Chris Johnson getting a ton of looks, Hellcat, Chris Humphrey, Wheatley Humphrey, excuse me, in there as well. So it's a very interesting time for the running back position, but we will get into first Girard Pringle, right? Who, again, you did a breakdown of on your page. D-Money and I also did an instant reaction on it as well, but big time get out of Armwood, a school that Miami has not had success at. I think Brad Tejeda, our boy, had said 1987 was the last time Miami got a kid out of Armwood.
That's Gator country.
It's crazy, right? So let's talk a little bit about what this guy brings to the table. I'll pull up some of his film here that'll be playing. And again, Stevo did a full breakdown of his own on his page, but let's just get into it a little here.
When I first saw this play, I thought it was sped up. I was like staring at everybody's reactions on the sideline. That's how fast he was moving. I was like, hold on, let me make sure. But it's like a 10-5 100-yard 100-meter dash. Like that's crazy speed. One thing about him is he's one cut and go, and I really like that. So if you're so fast, like just naturally just use your speed and like don't play around with him. He has a nice little he presses the line of scrimmage. He's explosive. He can read holes, but once he gets that one cut, you see that inside now is just literally a race to the hash. He beat him, then a race to the sideline, he beat him, and then a race down the sideline, he beat him. But I do have to say that corner he just burnt, that was crazy because that boy was keeping up. I was like, damn, them boys fast.
Right. And look, Stevo, we talk about this team last year at Miami, right, at the running back position. Again, not to downgrade what some of these guys could do, right? I know we were both big fans of Henry Parrish, but I think you're looking for guys like this who can turn those 10, 15, 20-yard runs into 60, 70, 80-yard touchdowns like this guy right here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just you need somebody to take. That's what's been missing in the offense. Though we've gotten chunk plays, the 20, the 30s, even 40s. Where Henry Parrish cutting back and stuff like that. But it's really we haven't really seen a big one since like Knighton was here, to be honest with you. So we're missing that. So you need that lightning component. We just stacked two on top of each other, and we just got our third to commit. So one of these three guys are gonna hit. All these guys are fast. All these guys can catch the ball. All these guys can run the ball. So one of these three are gonna hit. And so we'll see how that goes. But you have to have this dimension in the offense. We're gonna have all around backs. The bigger guys aren't gonna be slow, but these guys have different type of speed. It's just different.
And then you can now start to get a couple of these guys on the field at the same time together too, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go 22 sets to get two running backs in there, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what we can do on the goal line. We have Cam Ward in the backfield. We probably going to have mobile quarterbacks, moving forward. Emery's not the most mobile, but he can move. Judd is definitely can move. Reese Poffenbarger, who will be back next year, he could definitely move. Luke Nichols, not a statue either. So there's going to be mobility at quarterback moving forward. So the 22 set, I wouldn't mind seeing it in the red zone.
Steve, I mean, we talk about speed with this guy, 10.56 100-meter, right? I mean, can we put in perspective what that is? I mean, that's pretty elite in track.
That's like getting scouted for the Olympics.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's in my opinion. Yeah, because I think it's like what a 10-3 to qualify or 10.
Yeah, and I mean, look, some people have thrown out the Jeff Demps comparison, which everyone remembers Jeff Demps at Florida, and he was a legit track guy, and he competed in the Olympics.
Yeah, nah, he was fast. He was fast as hell. Because he was a cheat code at NCAA. I ain't gonna lie.
Could run back and forth. You could run sideline.
Yeah, that was before. That's before they. That was before they put the fatigue on them. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're both excited about the new NCAA game. We're gonna definitely have some content, I'm sure, around the game coming up this summer. But kind of switching gears here a little bit in terms of the running back position, right? And you mentioned a local target who's kind of heating up with Miami right now. But let's talk about who some potential guys to pair with a Pringle are in this class. We talk about that thunder and lightning aspect to it. Matt Merritt coming in as the new running backs coach, and seems like he's doing a really good job on the recruiting trail early. But who are some of the guys out there that in your mind would be good fits to pair with Pringle in the class?
I don't know if I'm gonna start out of state and I'm gonna start in home. It's no secret, Byron Lewis has been a target for the Hurricanes at 4-star running back at American Heritage and Plantation here in Broward County. Same school Mark Fletcher went to. Similar style. He's 6'1", a little bit slimmer. He's 205. But he has excellent contact balance, just like Jordan Lyle. It's really hard to get him on the ground. Just a natural, talented runner, paired with some really good vision. I think that's somebody that you could really, really love to see pair up with Pringle, because one, it will keep the combo going, but we have to keep the pipeline to American Heritage, because we know, unfortunately, not to, talk about them, but they do have Patrick Surtain up there in Tallahassee, so that holds some weight at Heritage. So we got to make sure we come back there again and again and again, and build that wall.
Yeah, and that'd be a good start there with Byron Lewis, for sure. Anyone else? Obviously, he's a guy that Miami's hot on right now, but um, anyone else that you would kind of throw in the mix there?
Yeah, somebody that D Money put a lot of people onto is Jasper Parker out of
Mhm.
Louisiana. We're going to recruit Louisiana. We got guys on the staff with a lot of ties to Louisiana, especially important people. D Train, Coach Guidry. So they're going to recruit Louisiana, and he's around 6'1", 6 foot, 200 pounds, but he moves pretty well. He's one of those guys who are like chiseled,
Mhm.
kind of like Trevante Citizen did. Look when he came out of Louisiana, he was rock solid. That's a good prospect. He's recently been heating up, and Matt Merritt's been building that relationship with him. You have a Canadian option who plays in Tennessee, and Shakai Mills Knight,
Yeah.
who's like 6'2", 215 pounds, and they're getting a relationship building. He's officially visiting on May 31st weekend, I believe.
Mhm.
So there's definitely interest there if he got the OV. So we'll see how that goes. And Canes fans obviously, are gonna want Alvin Henderson, big time running back. So 5'10", 190. So he's not too big, but by the time he takes a snap in college, he'll probably be around 200.
Yeah, we had both of those guys, Henderson and Shakai Mills Knight, on the show. Great guys, both of them. Shakai Mills Knight, man, he seems like he's got something special to him. Big back, like you said, but he's moving, right? So that would be a very, very intriguing one to pair here with Pringle. But great options all around between Parker, Byron Lewis as well. So listen, this is a good problem to have if you're Matt Merritt and Mario Cristobal trying to figure out who else is going to join Byron Pringle in this running back class. But listen, these skill position guys are great, and we love to talk about them. But without those guys up front, right, none of this is possible. And one of the guys that's committed right now, the only offensive line commitment right now, Lamar Williams, another guy that you did a breakdown on your page. I'm very intrigued with this guy. Gadsden County, Havana, Florida. Again, Florida State Gator country up there. This is not a territory that Miami necessarily recruits well, right? But they go in there and they get a very projectable offensive lineman who seems like he has a lot of tools to work with.
Yeah, that Florida State was definitely after. It's like 6'7", like the body and frame. Once I seen that, it was like there was rumors coming up, and obviously people could track visits, but once everybody saw the size, like I feel like once he went to campus, it was like, okay, we need to all out push this guy because he's a unicorn at the position. I think it's similar to their evaluation on Inez Cooper. When they saw his movement skills at his size already, and so they knew if they reshaped his body, he would be an issue, and that's exactly what happened. So I feel like this type of evaluation. He wasn't even really that highly. He was a 4-star on Rivals, but he's been getting pushed up as more people have witnessed him. But that's definitely somebody you want to walk off the bus. Like that's the look, 6'7", 300 plus. Like that's just what it is. Especially if with conference realignment and where we trying to go and the Super 2 and all this. Like these are the type of bodies we need at the line of scrimmage if you want to have those conversations.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you're talking about a Markel Bell, same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's that similar situation. And this kid reminds me of who was a kid from Louisiana in last class that they got on early, the offensive lineman. The name is evading me. He didn't end up sticking in the class.
Oh, Broussard.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah, Kavion Broussard, right? Something like that. Yeah. So
You would know
another.
this, yeah.
Yeah, Ole Miss. So he was another one that was kind of an early-ish evaluation, right? The offensive lineman, it's tricky, but anything with because these guys aren't ready-made, right? A lot of them played tight end at the high school level. A lot of them just didn't have that weight to be projected right away as players at the at the college level. But with anything that Coach Mirabal and Coach Cristobal do in terms of evaluation, I think most people are on board with.
Yeah, it's a proven formula, and it's their movement skills, because we do a lot of blocking schemes. We switched up in 2022. We switched up our blocking scheme, due to injuries like 3 times.
Right.
They coach everything, and they cross train everything, and that's because of how much resources, assistants and QAs, QCs, and GAs, everybody working the offensive line. It's a group effort, and it's led by our head coach and our offensive line coach Mirabal, and it's a proven track record. I'm fine with anything they bring in offensive line, because I feel like they're just looking for specific traits, and then they develop them. Think they know what they have already in their first unit. Maybe they're seeing a little bit more of a Carpenter, but I think they've known. They had a year or two to get some of these guys ready to be depth pieces or even play if necessary. A guy like Tommy Kinsler. So we'll see. Matthew McCoy. Pancake. We'll see
Yeah,
how these
and
guys.
I think Samson in a very good position to be the starting, left guard there, and that would be, great considering he came in, obviously gets hurt last year, wasn't able to play as he probably would have been able to see some time throughout the season for sure. But man, that would be talk about an starting offensive line coming off the bus, Stevo. That would be that's a pretty imposing one right there.
Jalen Rivers 6'4", 6'5" easily. Then it would be Pancake 6'5" easily. Carpenter, who's a taller center, 6'4", 6'5". Right guard Nez Cooper 6'6", a mammoth. Then right tackle Francis, 6'5".
And a good mix of, you have a lot of starts in that group, right? A lot of veterans in that group. Carpenter's played a ton of football. Nez Cooper at this point has played a ton. Samson obviously will be really his first taste. Jalen Rivers, he's played all over that offensive line. He's played,
battle tested.
So Francis, he's played, started all last season, but you got to understand that he's way above his years, right? So that group is the least of our worries right now. But I had one question before I let you go, Stevo, about a guy who, again, going back to the skill positions and going back to this current team, guy who's made a ton of buzz already in spring practice. Coach Cristobal compared him yesterday to the Ruben Baines of the world, right, in terms of his impact, immediate impact. Elijah Lofton, 4-star recruit, wasn't, because he doesn't have those measurables, wasn't a highly rated 4-star, but coming in and balling immediately, the type of mismatch that he could create for a defense. I mean, go through some of these scenarios with me, Stevo.
Yeah. If you haven't watched my review on Lofton, please go do it. I think personally, I've been on record saying I thought he was our pound for pound best football player in the class last year, just like I thought it was Ruben Bain previously. Elijah Lofton is a baller. He could play. He's played outside receiver, efficiently. He's played slot receiver efficiently. If you watch them, Elijah Lofton, the Bishop Gorman game versus Central, you saw him in the backfield run for like 4 touchdowns. Just he's already in the backfield at Miami, getting handoffs. He's literally just the best player with the ball. It's pretty special.
Yeah, here's the video, Canes fans, if you want to go check it out on Stevo's page, Elijah Lofton film review from 9 months ago. So, listen, this isn't anything new to Stevo. He said it in this video as well. So, go and check that out, Canes fans, if you have not already.
Pound for pound, one of the best football players. If you've seen the Miami Central game, he was the best player on the field, and that was crazy. That's a crazy statement, but I just believed it that night. I was like, oh my God. And that's just what he does. He's a vertical threat. A lot of people comparing him to Brevin Jordan and where they're the same school. They have really similar skill set, but Brevin just lacked the top end speed. Man, Elijah can move.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think juice is the word I've heard with him multiple times. He's got juice, right?
Yeah,
so
he's juiced up.
It's hard to put a finger on what that is sometimes when it comes to what what's his 40 time and all that. That's not what it's about. It's the football speed and the play speed that he brings to the table.
Yeah, he's a Mack truck at 6'2", 245, just sliding.
I don't know, Stevo. You 6'2", you may have given him a couple inches there. I think
Nah,
listen, that's the thing you got to understand with him is that you're not going to get your typical long, what you see today in the tight end position, right? But man, you're talking about a guy who's getting some snaps at running back, right? So there's a whole lot of stuff you could do with him, man. I compared him a bit to potentially like a CJ Donaldson. We saw the impact that he made, early on. Yeah, exactly. So who knows, man? It's going to be exciting to watch him play. That's for sure. But Stevo, man, thank you so much for taking time. Always great chopping it up with you about all things Canes, recruiting, and then, of course, the current roster. We're all excited about this season to come. But again, Canes fans, Stevo at 365 Canes Info on Twitter. And then, of course, on YouTube 365 Canes Football. Stevo, thank you once again, man.
appreciate you, brother.